Hello and welcome to this video where we explain how to build a Westport East Iconic Adirondack chair. Now there's 4 chairs in the Iconic range, 2 oak, 2 eucalyptus, but this procedure that we're now showing applies to all of the chairs. Now what I'd like to first focus on is the component parts. Now what you get is 8 bolts and 1 Allen key, because each of the bolts has an Allen key fixing. You also get 2 wooden pegs. So before we start, you can see that we've already gone through the pre-assembly procedures that we highlight in another video. We've put preserver and oil on these chairs already. Now, before we actually assemble, I would like to concentrate on making sure that there's nothing impeding on the nut on any of the parts of the chair. So what I propose you do is you take a bolt and you screw it into each of the nuts on the chair, just to make sure there's nothing there that's going to prevent the bolt going into the nut. Now this makes it easier for when you're assembling, because if there is something that impedes, you don't want to be halfway through the assembly and then find you have to unassemble to clear the impediment. What I would suggest is that if there is a problem, you get some WD-40, you spray it into the hole and you try again until eventually you find that you can actually run the bolt in. Okay, once you've done that to all of them, and let me just point out where they are. There's 4 on the chair head, the back of the chair. There's a choice of 2 on the back of the arm, of which you'll be putting into one of those, and there's 1 at the front of the base of the chair. So our first part of the assembly, once we've done that process, is to fix the front legs to the base of the chair, and that's what we'll be doing next. Okay, the first stage is to lift the front of the base of the chair up and put the front legs in position. Once we've got that roughly in position, we then have to look into the hole where we're going to put the bolt and try and align the 2 holes up. This can take a bit of time, but once you've got it aligned and you're in the right place, you can put the bolt in. Then if you do exactly the same on the other side, which I've already done, you can then do these up with the Allen key. Now you wouldn't want to do them too tight, but just do enough to make sure you've got a good fixing there. This is indeed the hardest part of assembling these chairs, is to get these front legs correctly aligned and put in. Once we have this done, the rest is much easier. Okay, I'll just get this one in. Okay, now that we've got the front legs fitted, we're going to put the back onto the base. Now to get the back onto the base, we have to loosen the hinges. Now these hinges come quite tightly fitted. We've already removed them once for the purpose of preserving and oiling them, and we put them back. But we have to now loosen these off to give enough room for us to be able to fit the base, the back in. Right, once we've got that in there, we just screw another 2 bolts in. And then we have to retighten the base off the hinge a little bit. The 2 wooden pegs, which we had laying on hedges 5 minutes ago, I've already put into the front where they belong in the assembled position. Whoops. Okay, after this we're going to fit the arms. Okay. Right, now that we've got the base of the back in place, we're going to put the arms in. But if there was two of us, the easiest way to do it would be to flip the hinges over, lift the back up, slot the back in there, and then someone could hold the front while the back is being screwed in. But as I'm on my own, I'm going to have to do it with the back down and put the arm in with the back down. Now the trouble with doing it this way is you've got to make sure that the arm is square with the back. Otherwise, as you do it up, you'll find it gets tighter before you get close to completing it. Now, if that happens, it's mainly because you've got the arm in the wrong direction or in the wrong phase to the nut. So it's a two-handed job, a little bit tricky. If you have the components aligned correctly, it goes in quite smoothly. Okay, that's this one in and tight enough. Right. Let's now do this one. Line isn't right. That's better. There we go. Right. Now, we've got to lift this up and hold it up like that. So this is a little bit tricky. And this is where we've also got to discuss the choices of position. If we look under here, you'll see we've got choice of two slots. Now, the back slot is a traditional Adirondack position. The front slot is just a little bit more of a laid back position. So this is your choice when you assemble, either to have it more upright or a little laid back. But whichever you choose for this side, you obviously have to choose the same for the other side. So let me just slot around to the front. Put the bolt in and try and align it with a hole. There we go. A little bit of jiggery pokery here. Perfectly in place. There we go. Got it. I'll just put the other one in. A little bit of fiddling with her. Sometimes they just fall in and sometimes they're just a little bit tricky. If you look down the hole you can see what's preventing it going in. There we go. Right, we now got those two in place, we can now do them up. There we go. Okay, now we've got it generally assembled. All we have to do now is just give it a little bit of a tightening up at a few places where it might still be a little bit loose. Not too tight, because we're now going to show you how to fold the chair. So that seems to be okay. Right. Folding the chair is a matter of pulling the 2 wooden pegs out and then just folding the chair over, which we should do in a minute. Okay, we've moved the chair off the table so that we can show you how to fold it. It's a little bit dark outside now, so we're just going to do it inside, which is not where you'd normally do it. But here we go. We pull the 2 wooden pegs out, throw the hinges over, lift the bottom of the chair up, and then lifting the back and pushing the legs down, we can now put these pegs in and lock the chair for storage. And there we go, this is the chair folded. It's got flat heels so it can sit and lean against the wall. It doesn't take up too much room. Now, when we want to get it out again, we pull the 2 hinges out, drop the chair down, and then we can put the hinges back, the pegs back. And there we go, finished.